the Reunion Association of the Northampton decided that this is your life. And so we're here today to celebrate your life. And we know you've been on national television already this year.
That was a fluke.
My wife screamed out and she said, "Captain Jack's on TV." All right. I'm going to introduce to, I'm Len Schultz. I'm the Secretary Treasurer. This was a brainchild I had. I came in, Captain Jack invited me to his 100th birthday last year. I came, and it was an enjoyable event. This was a brainchild. Surprised and thrilled. I contacted the family and asked them about it, and said that we would like to present a plaque that we can put on the monument or on the case of the CLC CC1, and then something that we have for Captain Jack in celebration of his 101st birthday, and they agreed. And we also said we were going to keep it a secret, and we did.
You did?
I was afraid somebody was going to say something.
I'm surprised this girl didn't talk, but they didn't talk in front of me anyway.
All right. But I'm going to introduce Mike Pangborn, who is our president of the association, and he will come and have some of the introductions or invitations, and we'll speak after he
First is, now that we've welcomed everyone, is to introduce Mark Weber. Would you joined by the family of Captain Lewis Thomas, USN retired. He served in the Northampton CA-26 during World War II Pacific Theater at Midway and Guadalcanal, where the Northampton CA-26 was sunk. Captain Thomas later attended the Northampton CLC-1 commissioning ceremony in Boston on March 7, 1953, and received 2 of these programs. And we thought it would be very appropriate to have one put on display with our model. So this is telling you how it came about, and we figured you can either use this to put on it so the book is open this way, or you can do it this way, or do it
Your
the way you
Navy
want it.
Reserve exhibit is the life jacket he wore when Northampton was sunk at Guadalcanal. Has his name stenciled on the back, and we're going to display that with the model as a part of that exhibit.
Good.
So this
Very
is a
good.
great addition to that. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, too. Our Secretary Treasurer is Len Schultz. And our reunion planner, John Gothier. And I'm right now president of the group. My name's Mike Pangborn. We're glad to be here and glad to give these honors to Captain this morning. We're certainly proud to be here and be a part of this occasion. As you know, you have turned 101 years old and still going, which is wonderful. And we're here to honor you today, as Lynn said, with the plaque to put on the model, and also something for you that Len Schultz will be doing. And I'm going to turn it over to him at this time.
prepare with notes, but then your notes always get lost. But I do want to express to you that several of your former ship crew members were unable to attend, so they sent their greetings. Jack McQuestion said he's sorry he can't come and he's under the weather. And then he said, you know, we send best wishes and God bless. We tried to get the Chief of Naval Operations to come, but I even asked him to write you a letter. I hope maybe you get a letter. These are some of the things that you just try to do. Many people were unable to come. The chaussure, as his name is. He's a young man that was aboard your ship, and he was coming, but he had written hours, and now that my parents have long since been gone, now I wish they had done the same. I do too. As I did, I didn't care that much about their past. Now, however, I would like to know. I grew up in the silver spoon, or with a silver spoon in my mouth. I never seen that. Compared to you, Bob. Except on my paper route. The papers cost me 12 cents a week, and I collected 15, if they paid. My father's business was a small woodworking concern providing material to drill out wells. It didn't go belly up during the Great Depression, but it was ever close. We ate low on the hog, but having no mortgage, were able to stay in the house. No money for college, tried to get an appointment to West Point, none available. So I selected a booby prize, Naval Academy. In this case, the booby prize better than the prior preferences. Now you understand though that he is one of 3 surviving members of the class of 1937. And I think you're still what, the president after 20 years?
I came in on the basis of term limits.
Oh, okay.
I never found anybody that would come up and take over.
I'm glad we don't have term limits now. Oh, I mean the presidency. The Asiatic fleet was an antiquated World War I 4 Piper destroyer. When the war started, and 3 of the cans in our division sunk by the nips, we weren't better, just lucky, never at the wrong place at the wrong time. I thought, you and I were together, but we didn't know it back in 48 and 49. That's before computers. I was the ops officer on the Springfield, then the Norton, but not at the same time. I thoroughly enjoyed your memoirs, Bob, and thank you so much for sharing them with me. Before you asked, Bess and I vowed that ours was too personal and would not be available to anyone outside the family. You as well, I give an awful lot of credit for our happy and successful lives and to our first mates in the only actual COs. So that's, my grandson came to me and he said, Grandpa, you've done so many things and you've been so many places. He said, you need to write them down. And I said, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm not going to do a memoir or a biography. He said, no, just title it What I Did and What I Didn't Do. So that's what we're going to do. But these are the folks that we have. We're so grateful to be able to do this. We have a few other opportunities here. One, of course, is maybe you, we found this in the post office part. I'm going to ask Mike to present this to you. It says the USS Northampton CC-1 Presidential Command Ship, 1961-1970. Captain John S. Jack Slaughter, USN retired, first commanding officer to the President, 1961-1962. And in honor of his 101st birthday, the Northampton Reunion Association places this as a tribute to his leadership and military service, January 21st, 2015. And it says, to John S. Slaughter, USN retired, first skipper to the President of the USA, 1961-1962. Plaque is in honor of his leadership and service to our country and to congratulate Captain Jack Quotes on his 101st birthday. the USS Northampton Reunion Association members. In honor of all that you did for every one of the crew members. You were what we call, in many ways and cases, the sailor's captain.
That's what I wanted to be.
That's right. And we do have a lady here that whose husband, she painted it, but she did a watercolor of the ship, of this painting that's in the back. Peggy Caverly, and she's here with us. Her husband has deceased, and we knew that we had a picture, and I couldn't find it, of you and your husband presenting that to Captain Jack.
When I entered the academy, I was so anxious to even be able to graduate from the Naval Academy. The fact that I'm still here
But from
blows
then,
my mind.
from then till now, a lot of years have passed, a lot of memories.
Lots and lots of memories. Yeah. The first one, I didn't quite feel that way on my first command. I felt that seaman, fireman, corpsman was just as important a man as I was. I may have been the skipper, but their life was just as important to thee and to his mother and father as mine was to my mother and papa. So the Northampton was the epitome of it all. I couldn't imagine frankly think all the ships I was skipper of was outstanding. That's my personal preference.
Yeah, the Gary, I forgot his last name, from
Gary Edmondson
sends his regrets, and he said he will be in touch with you later.
Oh, Gary is a son of one of the USS Hobby, DD 612, I think she was. And he has taken over the responsibility for keeping the SDF 38 Association still going. The last reunion back in the Midwest, they had 4 people from the actual survivors of the ships, but they had a total of about 35 people there. That's the sons and daughters. And Gary Edmondson is the guy who's taken over. And this year, my ship, the old Wales 628, is in charge of the reunion. And we have it on our schedule to try to make it.
All
But
right.
it's in San Francisco. And I understand the Northampton reunion is in St. Petersburg.
Oh, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, okay, yeah. And that's, we don't have a date yet for it.
September 9th.
September.
September 9th to the 12th.
I'm gonna try to make that one too.
We'll be, especially after he went gallivanting all over the rivers of Germany and what, September, October?
Oh, but that was a little bit different.
Oh, okay. Last year I wrote, he invited me to his party, and so I wrote to him and I said, do you have a jacket? And he said, I lost my jacket, but I don't need another jacket. Well, I said, I'm gonna get him a jacket anyway. So I went and had the jacket, and I had this made, put that in there on it for him, gave it to him, and when he looked at it, he said, you disobeyed my order.
I've had other people disobey and they were always right and I was wrong. I say I'm overwhelmed by this whole thing today, far the last thing on my mind. But I just thank each and every one of you for coming and for what you've done to make all this possible. I enjoyed my 30 years in the Navy, and I'm still enjoying my 30 years in the Navy. Being, all of us men know, we have 2 jobs, being in the service and then also our wives.
Yeah.
It's always a typical hard balance of how much for family vis-a-vis the Navy. But my dear wife, Bess, she accepted that early in the game when we came into Fort Pipe Destroyer in Chenwantou, China. I was supposed to meet her, but no, I was officer in charge of the rifle range. So here Bess got in there, 10 o'clock in the morning, and no Jack down there to meet her. But she managed, and we had a hell of a good time. Well, look, thank you all. I just don't know how to say it, but I just can't tell you how much I appreciate this whole service, how much I appreciate your service. See, I was no better than any one of you. We were all in it together. As a crew, we were a team, all for one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, many other people who served on there just as good as I was, maybe even better.
Well, that's a great legacy.
Great legacy.